So we got a bit more information about Modern Warfare 3, Warzone in the coming year, and more as a part of the last few days. Over the weekend, we saw World Series of Warzone where devs were at supporting the project. We saw leakers leaking from that event, and we've seen official teasers start back up for a mode that we've not really heard too much about so far within Modern Warfare 3. So today, we're taking a look at all of that and more. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below on what you think of this kind of stuff. Are you looking forward to it? Does it sound good, or maybe not so much? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 3 ahead of COD Next and the full launch of the game, as well as other games like X-Defiant and some additional retrospective content we've got planned here on the channel. I'd love to have in the community if you're interested in any of that. And finally, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for the best blue light glasses on the market, but more on them a little later. For now, let's jump into the new information for Modern Warfare 3. So we've heard a lot about Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer. We've heard a lot of stuff leak out for that, but also some official stuff as well. But one thing that we really haven't heard too much on in regards to the Modern Warfare 3 year of support is how Warzone will work in regards to what's on offer, what's changing fundamentally, and stuff like that. And that's where Bob Network UK, or El Boberto as he's known now, comes into play, because he was at World Series of Warzone over this past weekend, talking with developers that were there in support of the project, and he was live leaking stuff here from the event, in which he talked a little bit about how we can expect sniping to be handled within Modern Warfare 3's year of support for Warzone, how things will shift fundamentally in some cases here in the upcoming year, and how things will be changing from what we have now, in which he ended up detailing that we're going to see sniping going back to Warzone 1 style. He mentioned specifically the Kar 98K, though mentioned explicitly as well that it wasn't something that was said the Kar 98K is coming back in that regard, but more so referring to how sniping was handled with the Kar 98K. So what I take away from that is that we might be able to expect faster, snappier nature for snipers, which honestly I loved. I don't know if you guys were around the channel during the main year of support for Warzone in Modern Warfare 2019, in Black Ops Cold War, but honestly, I loved just rushing around with the Kar 98K. My personal favorite was in Black Ops Cold War's year of support, where you could end up using the FFAR as a sniper support weapon as well, fast firing up close to get the job done, but also carrying enough damage over distance that it could be a ranged weapon that isn't quite out to the distance where a sniper is the most beneficial here for this, before then switching over to the Swiss K31 to be my sniper with the FFAR. So that kind of stuff was honestly, that was my favorite time in Warzone. I don't know about you guys, but that also indicates maybe that we see the potential of a one-hit kill sniper headshot, fundamentally speaking. Yes, you can do that with explosive rounds right now in Warzone as we have it, but to have a crutch attachment to end up being able to one-shot like that, it's not necessarily the most beneficial for those that like to snipe. You have to take away actively from your build in order to equip the ability to one-shot down somebody. So maybe that returns here in that case, but it was certainly interesting to hear of that return to form perhaps to the original Warzone and the sniping that we knew back then. So that's some stuff we learned about over this weekend over the Warzone side of things and how Modern Warfare 3 will shape that experience within Warzone. But today we also got more information following the last day or so of zombies details. Our first teasers here to start up ahead of COD Next, and when we'll see an official full reveal of zombies for Modern Warfare 3. The unknown caller that gave us teasers ahead of the worldwide reveal of Modern Warfare 3 is back at it with more teasers coming the last few days, and seemingly more coming over the next week or so here at this. But we saw images showcased, which the initial one that they posted with the message to be prepared for new intel, that focused on just a phone and a few notebooks and other items on the edge of a desk. Initially, that teaser you could take away was maybe the TAC map, since we didn't know what the Warzone map will be like, but it's also not in depth to really know what's going on with that. But there's also leather-bound books on it with the Omega logo, which gives us a direct tie to the Dark Ether storyline, and the one below it says 1985 Omega Report, presumably a take on the events after Forsaken, the closing map here of the Dark Ether storyline in Cold War. The first reply image here with that, if you texted that number back with a few things, you got a letter to all personnel where it read, "It, presumably a typo for I, am proud to announce that Requiem's primary objective has been met. The outbreak has been contained and those responsible taken into custody. Effective immediately, Requiem is dissolved. Please report to your supervisor for sanitation procedures and exit interviews. Signed, the director." Now, as we see revealed at the end of Forsaken, the director is none other than Richtofen. So while I'm sure there's going to be a connection here, and we'll see as in other bits here that we'll touch on in a second, lots of tie-ins with the Dark Ether storyline from Cold War and that story arc, I'm just wondering what this means for returning players. This letter and other assets are dated a week after Forsaken and the conclusion of the Cold War story, so who returns, if any, of that group in a playable or direct lore time frame. I mean, that's nearly 40 years later at this point, where characters from that story and that direct arc would be pushing 60, 70, and 80 years old. Today's images, though, we learned a little bit more, where a new bulletin board of quite a bit of information was showed off. Firstly, there was a ton of reused assets pointing towards Cold War's story arc with a Dark Ether, where you have Project Endstation and D Machina. You have headshots of Major Carver on the right, Weaver on the left, and right below him is Dr. Elizabeth Gray. The TAC map, again, is a zoomed-in version of that Warzone map we've seen, but the sticky notes are definitely interesting. There's a mention of, if they are real, there will be no stopping us. And my immediate thought here at this would be, it would be somebody directly established already in the zombies lore. Somebody signing Z. Zykov was my first name that came to my mind, but again, him being the Forsaken and being beaten in the end of Cold War, it doesn't necessarily check out as cleanly as we may like. The other prevailing theory is that it's a Zakhaev commanding this. We saw Victor die in the end cutscene of Modern Warfare 2019 through the intel missions that were part of Warzone, but I mean, I guess just like Alex, we didn't see the body go splat, but surviving that kind of fall and then the initial rocket ignition burn before, that's highly unlikely to survive that. Imran, on the other hand, his father, that one may be possible depending on when this is taking place from, when this intel is supposed to be, because the intel gathered here is not necessarily from the storyline in this year and Modern Warfare 2019's direct modern setting. I mean, the rest of the stuff is from the 80s, so who's to say these items aren't as well? But Imran apparently died in 2011, but it could be following, again, his footsteps, perhaps Victor again, if he did somehow survive, trying to finish out what his father started. I mean, that's basically his entire story arc in Modern Warfare 2019. So maybe he's gathering all this kind of stuff and being the ones to put it together, or it could be somebody else entirely. And again, that sticky note is something from the past. But anyways, all speculation. Beyond that, if you replied to that with Ravenov, you got a bit more intel where you saw the badge for Ravenov, where he was from Omega, that his personnel file post-Forsaken, where it mentions that his status is unknown, but he was a defector from the Spetsnaz and was associated with the Soviet-based Redacted and CIA-based Redacted. Those, I don't think you have to read too far into them because we can assume those redactions are Omega and Requiem, respectively, knowing how Cold War went. But lots of zombie stuff coming in regards to the storyline and relevant details. So far, we've already seen detail that will be following the group called Terminus, who are looking to weaponize the last known quantities of Aetherium and will start the storyline with Operation Deadbolt to try and stop them and contain an incursion. But beyond that, we'll have to see how it all plays out. For those Zombies fans that are interested in learning more, of course, I think more will be happening here as the week progresses, but we also know that we'll see a full reveal at COD Next, which makes it potentially the biggest reveal we've seen to date in regards to content and what's on offer for a full reveal of any COD game. Black Ops 4's multiplayer reveal was the prior record holder, showing off gameplay of multiplayer, trailers and cinematics for Zombies, and a teaser for Blackout. But this will now showcase all three modes, and at least two of them will have actual gameplay, multiplayer and Warzone. Zombies is something that may just be revealed, but again, still in a playable aspect, the biggest reveal we've seen to date, which is pretty cool. And the final thing that I want to touch on today is the mention of a potential beta for Zombies. This is something that leaker Alex touched on a little while ago, but honestly, I don't know how this is going to be going. I don't think that we're going to be seeing a beta for Zombies because, I mean, from now until launch, there's like a window of time of 2 weeks that you have to work with, where you have Season 6 coming up here for Modern Warfare 2 next week. You have COD Next the following week, the beta immediately following that, and then the beta ends up finishing on the 16th of October. Early access for Modern Warfare 3's campaign starts on the 2nd, so you have like 2 weeks where you'd be able to fit a beta in there, and that's something that they're not going to use that time to not market Modern Warfare 3's full launch and instead focus on a Zombies beta. I just don't see that happening. So for me, I think this might indicate, if this is something that's true at all, that it might be a beta state, similar to how DMZ is listed in beta right now, how Warzone as well at the beginning was listed as beta back in 2020. But beyond that, it's just an interesting little addition here that may or may not mean something, but I wanted to throw in here just in case. So keep an eye out for that. But that said, that right now is everything we learned out of this past weekend for Warzone, Zombies, and a bit more about Modern Warfare 3. So that is where we're going to wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. But before I conclude everything, make sure you check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for 10% off your entire order of what I believe are the best blue light glasses on the market. They recently just launched their Diablo gaming glasses, which for those of you guys that love AV aviator style frames, this is for you. I love aviator frames, definitely gonna be picking up a pair of these. But of course, these and everything they have on offer, honestly, I'll still swear by it, the best pair of glasses that I've used in the many years that I've been wearing glasses. They're the most comfortable, lightweight, and durable frames that I've used, and honestly, I truly do think they've helped my daily productivity. If you guys want to learn more, check out the science and all the details that they go into way more in depth than I could ever cover in a quick little plug here for YouTube. Honestly, at least encourage even that. Check out what they have on offer, link down there in the description below. But if you guys want to pick up something for yourself, code Espresso can get you 10% off your entire order, so link in the description below if you're at all interested. But for now, again, that's what we're gonna call it. So let me know your thoughts down below, what you think of all this kind of stuff. If you guys enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 3, X Defiant, all this kind of stuff. We got a busy fall coming up here for FPS content, so I'd love to have you in the community if you're interested in any of that. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.